Welcome to Noseball. Today we're going to go over 10 of my NBA hot takes for the 2026 season. I'm not saying that these are the hottest NBA takes. Some of them are very generic. Some of them I think I leaned a little bit. And again, a hot take is not me saying Bronny James is averaging 30 points. That's just ridiculousness. That's not going to happen. That, a hot take is something that, to me at least, a hot take is something that, again, it depends on how big of a hot take it is, but it's something that has a small percentage chance of happening, but it could happen, um, or it has a decent chance of happening. Who knows? So I'm gonna start with what I think might be some very generic ones, and I'm going to start off with Anthony Edwards averages 30 points per game this season. He just does. I think when you talk about most versatile scorer being in their prime, obviously Kevin Durant is still a basketball player, but not. He's regressing a little bit. He's still obviously one of the best scorers in the league. I think Ant is the most versatile scorer in the league right now. Um, I think he will average 30 points per game this season. Um, Next, let's go with Jonathan Kaminga averages 20 points per game. I don't know. I'm gonna go with on the Warriors. If he is on the Warriors, which again you people know, I don't want to happen for him, but Jonathan Kaminga proves people wrong. He averages over 20 points per game. Um, just to shut people up, to show people that he's not Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, people of that tier. Obviously, those players are two different tiers. I know. Don't say anything in the comments. I know. Um, but he's a very good player, and he should be paid. Um, not 35 million a year, but he should get a good paycheck and be given a real chance because he hasn't been ever given that chance. Um, Next, I want to go with um the Suns will be in the play in this season and they will sneak into the playoffs by winning the play in. I also paired that with Mark Williams is eligible for awards this year, which means he plays 65 games or more. Again, you look at the Suns, you think, okay, yeah, Devin Booker is back to playing point guard because you got Devin Booker, Jalen Green. You probably have Ryan Dunn and Dillon Brooks at the 3-4, and then Mark Williams at the 5. Bench, not perfect whatsoever at all. Defense as a whole, not perfect between obviously Booker and Green. Mark Williams doesn't always show his true defensive value. Um, it's gonna be a struggle again. Not likely, but it could happen, and that is another one of my hot takes. Another one is Victor Wembanyama makes All NBA first team. It would be his first All NBA team because rookie year he didn't get it, obviously. Second year he was an All Star, but obviously got the blood clots and everything, so he couldn't eventually be eligible for awards. But though, but Wemby makes All NBA first teams, especially when you think of some of the talent that we will be missing. Again, maybe not All NBA first team talent, all of them, but he's gonna come back and he's gonna make All NBA first team. Trey Murphy or Brandon Miller, very, again, play in the opposite conferences, but either Trey Murphy or Brandon Miller will make their first All Star appearance this season. Um, Both are on teams that probably are going to miss the playoffs completely. But if they start the season decent, if they have an All Star, but when you talk about Zion and LaMelo, both might not be healthy. It's also very true that Trey Murphy and Brandon Miller could not be healthy, but I could see a world where if those teams are decent, I could see that those are the players for their respective teams that could make an All Star appearance for them. Um, just because Trey Murphy's averaged 20 before. Brandon Miller's had a rough career to start when you talk about injuries, but I think Brandon Miller has the potential to be a 20 mid 20 point per game scorer in his career. And I think year 3 is where we will get that jump from him. Peyton Pritchard this year shows his inner Isaiah Thomas. And when I'm talking about Isaiah Thomas, I'm not talking about Zeke. I'm not talking about 90s Isaiah Thomas. I'm talking about Boston Celtic Isaiah Thomas, who was one of the best scorers in the league. I'm not saying he's going to be at MVP conversations. I'm not saying he's going to average 29 points per game like Isaiah Thomas did. But he averages 20. He's this very small, like 6 foot or under point guard, um, plays for the Celtics, and given the opportunity, he's going to ball out, average over 20 and like 6 assists, and he is really going to wake the NBA up after winning Sixth Man of the Year last year. I'm gonna go. We've only got 3 more here. I'm going to say Trae Young leads the Hawks to a top 3 seed and is a top 10 player this season. When I say top 10 player, that basically to me means he's going to make all NBA second team or first team. Trae Young, rough times. His teams have been injury riddled, and it still could happen this year. Trae Young did not have the most efficient year of his career last year. But we know Trae Young can average 28 and 10 if he like. We know he can do that. So Trae Young gets back on track. The Atlanta Hawks get back on track after being a play-in team for however many years, and he is going to make all NBA second team or higher. I'm going to say Giannis Antetokounmpo gives us a 2018 LeBron run. I've talked about this a couple times, so some of you might know what I mean by this, some of you might not. In 2018, this was the year that Kyrie first was on the Celtics, and LeBron was, he was there to start the year with a bunch of old guys between Isaiah Thomas, Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Love, all those old guys. And then, sure, at some point they flipped a lot of those guys. But LeBron had really no secondary star. And he hauled that team deep into the playoffs. Again, didn't win the championship, of course, got swept in the finals. But Giannis is the type of talent where he can do LeBron type things. Again, obviously not the shooter. I shouldn't have to say that. People know Giannis is not the shooter LeBron is, but everything else, defense, rebounding, playmaking, scoring as a whole, he is the ability to elevate a team. He is going to give us a 2018 type run where the Bucks again might be a 4th, 5th seed. I think the Cavs were a 4th seed that season. Again, made it to the finals, went through some tough playoff battles where you talk about he went versus the Pacers. I believe he went versus the Raptors, the Celtics, and then obviously went and met the Warriors where he met his match. But I say Giannis gives us an all-time run like LeBron did. And to end it, I'm going to say an American-born player is winning MVP this season. If you don't know, pretty much James Harden was the last American-born player to do this. Because you got to think, in 2019 and 20, we had Giannis. 21, 22, we had Jokic. 23, we had Embiid. 24, we had Jokic again. And then 25, we had Shea. All not American-born players. Now, who will that be? Was that a Jalen Brunson, who going to be my dark horse for MVP this year based on what he can do out east and with the Knicks, with the injuries and what that team could do. Probably my dark horse for MVP. Is it like a more surprising pick where you get like a Donovan Mitchell, where you get, but then again, you got to think like there's also Wemby. Again, not saying Wemby's going to do this, but like, or do we get a sneaky Steph Curry or LeBron, something like that. I'm saying an American-born player wins MVP this season and breaks the streak of foreign-born MVPs. Let me know what you guys think about some of these in the description below. Again, some of them are not the most insane takes of all time, but I want to hear what your takes are. Again, don't give me some Bronny averages 30 or the Utah Jazz is a 70 win team. I don't want to hear nonsense. I want to hear a hot take that you believe could happen, or there is, it would be something that has a little bit of possibility to it that people just aren't thinking of. I think I gave some good ones. I think I gave some broad ones, but again, let me know what your NBA hot take is for the 2026 season. Um, Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. And remember to enjoy basketball.